Hi everybody, this is Kevin with Texas Yard Man and More. Today I am featuring a video on a wildlife water guzzler. I built this morning out of 4x4s, 2x6s, and some 2x4s. You can see it's approximately 8 feet wide by 8 feet long, and at the highest point it's about 6 foot. I've got a 550 gallon tank. This is designed to catch all the rainwater when we do get rain. It helps to supplement water for the wildlife out here. There is no well on this property, and so I decided to build this and to bring more animals in. I already have plenty of animals that come here, but it's to help water the animals. I also feed, and lots of pigs and deer and exotics come in here. So this one is 550 gallons. It's black in color, which is what you want. You don't want the white tanks because algae can build up, and you don't want that. So I have a gutter system here that's going to catch the rainwater. I've got it offset. This is the lowest point, and then you come over here and this is set higher, so when it does rain it comes off of this sheet metal down in here into this catch. You can look in here, and I sealed all this up with silicone, and all the way down here, and I've got a rain drain here that I've drilled holes into this, and I set it with silicone around the bottom so water can't seep down in there. It's hard to find little connectors like this. If you have an idea, or you know where I can get connectors for drains like this, I looked around. This was the best I could do. It's a 2-piece. This screws up onto the bottom. It's threaded. And then I've got some hose here that's for water. And it comes through and it goes up into the top there. There's also a hole right there that you can put it through. I was kind of fighting it with this hose. It's the right width. It's just a little tight, so I think I'm gonna have to use some like oil, vegetable oil or something like that to get it to go through this hole here. And then what I've got is I went to the hardware store and I got some valves here for the bottom, and then I've got this hose that I've dug a trench for, because it does get cold up here in the Texas hill country. So it'll help some. I don't know if you have to go down like 2 feet or so to get below the frost line, but that's just a consideration that you have wherever you live. It does get cold here. And then I've got a valve system right here. I've got this valve. It's a half turn valve, and then here's another valve. And so I've got 2 valve systems, and then I got a quick release. This is your standard garden hose width. And then you could also use this hose if you had a connector for it, but I just used the one that came with it. And then I dug a trench all the way out to here, and I've got a pan. Got this off of Amazon. It's perfect for what I need. Let's see if I can show you. There's a connector here on the bottom, and this is a float pan. So I dug a hole out here, and this pan is going to sit like so, and then this hose is going to hook up to it, and then I'm going to bury the hose. And then I have plans to stake this pan down, because pigs are notorious for rooting things up. So I've got some stakes over here that I'm going to pin this pan down to, and then inside here is the float mechanism, just like you would see on any other water pan or trough. You just take these screws off, and you'll see a rubber float in here. Maybe I'll add that to this video and you can see it later. But that hose is going to be covered up all the way there. And my next step is to go get some water. And then here's my little setup over here. I was working. Got a generator running over there, providing me power to my chop saw. And like I said, it's used, I use 4x4s, 2x4s, and 2x6s. Here's the 2x6s up top. And then the screws, if you go to the hardware store, Home Depot or what have you, there's sheet metal screws, and they're colored. And they have this little washer inside of them. It's a rubber washer that when you tighten these down, it expands that washer and it creates a watertight seal. So let's see if I can show you up underneath. But I went two per section here for screws. This one, with the exception of this one on the end. So I've got 2 screws here, and then there's my gutter to catch the rain. And then we'll go over here. These are just braces. I've still got to do 2 more braces, one in the front here, which I ran out of 2x4s. So I've got to bring 2 more next time I come out. And then you can see up underneath here, I've got a 2x4 brace, and I used 2 of them. You could use as many as you want. I just decided to use 2 wherever you have the creases. These fold over the top of each other when you link them together. So it took me 3 sheets. Approximately, these panels up here are approximately 3 feet wide. So I've got enough for overhang on each side. So you've got some overhang here, which is about equivalent of 9 feet. And like I said, my structure is 8 feet by 8 feet. So I've got overhang, which is fine. It's not a big deal. And then I used lag bolts. Well, I shouldn't say lag bolts because they're nuts and bolts. Use the galvanized because it's going to be out here in the elements. You don't want them to rust. And then on the back side, I've got lock washers. Really, I could have put a flat washer, then a lock washer. That probably would have been better, but it's not a big deal. And then over here, I've got some 2x4 brackets that I use to hold the 2x4s in place. And it turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. I've got about a 6-inch, no, I'm sorry, a 1-foot slant on this roof. So the back is 6 foot high. I think I may have said 8, but it's 6. And the front is 5 feet high. So that's what you cut your 4x4s to. And then, like I said, there's my water pan. That's what the animals will be drinking out of. And I'm gonna fix that up really nice. I'm gonna put some rocks around it. And then I've got my hose that I'm gonna bury. So I'll come back maybe when it's finished and add it to this. Stay tuned. All right, we're back, and I have filled up the pan, and all over my property there's these little rocks, limestone rocks, and I just decided to make a ring around it. And I filled up the pan, and you can see here's those spikes that hold the pan down. I've got 4 of them on here. They're just like, they look like Christmas canes, Christmas tree canes that you would put on your Christmas tree. And right now, I'm filling up my tank with a garden hose over here into this lower port, and just to get it a head start. And I'll show you what these canes look like. So here they are. They're little rebar, and you just basically jab them in to the ground with a hammer. And I bought these off of Amazon. I'll put all the links in my video if you're interested in getting a pan like that. So I dug a hole and countersunk it so the pan is somewhat level with the ground, but mine's a little bit lower, which is fine. And over here, I put some rocks over the valve. So under here is your shut-off valve. Right now I have it shut off because I want to fill my tank, and I just manually filled the pan. And then also rocks help keep critters from chewing on the hose or anything like that, or the fittings. Cows really love to chew on stuff. But and then there's our hose. I do have a leak right in here, so I'm going to wait for this to dry out and I'll fix that. But for the most part, water was coming off the roof and into the gutter, so it routes it down there to that hose, and then from that hose into the top of the tank. So all in all, a good day's work. You can do this, it's not too hard. 2 people is better. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and now I'll be able to feed my wildlife out here. I don't have cows anymore, so it's nothing but deer, pigs, and exotics, and a lot of other animals too. On my property I've got rabbits, raccoons, porcupines, skunks. I've seen quail out here, turkey, and lots of wildlife. So I'm going to put a camera on this just to see what animals are coming in. Yeah, it was a fun project to work on. I may build another one over on the other side of the property, but for now I think this one should suffice. And really cool project. If you like this, please give me a like, thumbs up, you know, comment if you have any questions. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps my channel. I really appreciate everybody that watches me. And hit that notification bell if you want to see any of my future videos. I do all kinds of crazy videos. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Take care.